Good morning, CTC Eagles. Yay! Welcome to your fall 2021 semester and our new student orientation. Good morning again. I'm so happy to see so many faces this morning, and we've already started chatting, and we have students here from all over Texas and some other areas, and a few soldiers as well. So again, good morning, and I am excited to welcome you to this new student orientation. We have a lot of good information for you this morning. So when you leave here, our goal is to, at the end of this new student orientation, for you to have so much information that all those nerves and jitters are going to be wiped away and you're ready to start your successful semester. So with that, let's get started. First off, we want to have a welcome. We have our Chancellor, Mr. Yiannopoulos.
Hey, good morning. Welcome, everyone, and especially to the students who are interested in attending Central Texas College. We hope that we have everything you need and we can answer all your questions. I was listening to some of the dialogue earlier, and yes, ask those questions. There's no bad question, and so we will provide those answers to you. I feel certain with all the faces I'm seeing from our staff that can answer anything you can ask. So welcome again, and we hope to see you on campus or online, however it works out for you. But if you get a chance, we'd love to have you on this campus. So thank you, and congratulations for choosing Central Texas College. We are the Eagles, so Eagles strong.
Thank you, Mr. Yiannopoulos. Next, our next welcome is going to be from one of our Deputy Chancellors, Dr. Robin Garrett. Good morning, Dr. Garrett.
Good morning. Thank you, Charlotte. Good morning, students. Oh my goodness, there's so many of you here. I can't fit you all on one screen. I keep scrolling through, looking at everybody. It's amazing. Thank you for being here. As Charlotte said, my title is the Deputy Chancellor of Academic and Student Success. So that is the biggest part of my job, is to ensure that you guys are successful. My staff is the most amazing group of people in the world. They are here to support you, to help you. Now, while the faculty don't report to me, I still claim them. They are the most amazing faculty in the world also, and they're here to support you. So on behalf of the other two deputy chancellors, Dr. Michelle Carter and Dr. Tina Adey, and of course myself, I want to welcome you to Central Texas College and hope that you have the most successful semester and year if I don't get to talk to you, either here on campus, as the chancellor said, or online. We're so glad to have you, and we're ready to make this the best. Take care, and Eagle Strong, as the chancellor said.
Thank you, Dr. Garrett. Our next welcome is going to come from Dean Julie Starkey. Julie is the Dean of Student Success and Persistence. So Julie, take it away.
Everybody. Hey, everybody. And I don't want to take up too much time, but I'm all about your success. And normally what I do is I give you a few tips that I want you to follow this semester. And they're very basic tips. Number one, I want you to go to class every single day. I don't want you to miss class. If you're taking an online class, I want you to log in almost every day and check what's going on and get those assignments done. That is the key to your success, is really, being involved. Number two, you're going to have today an opportunity to meet some pretty incredible faculty, and they're going to tell you, you got to connect with them. You've got to communicate with them if there's an issue. Please get to know your faculty. They are the number one resource for you. They are here for you. They want to know what's going on. They need to know you. So please get to know the faculty who teach your class. Introduce yourself. Ask them the questions that you have. That's very important. Number three, one of the things your faculty are going to give you is a syllabus. Guys, that syllabus is your passport to the semester. It lets you know due dates, test dates, your course materials. They're going to go over more about that. Read your syllabus, print it out, keep it somewhere. It's a key to success. Number four, One of the things that we know is that really hurts students is missing work. They forget to turn something in. They just don't. I want you guys to pledge to turn in everything that your faculty assigned to you. And sometimes, life gets busy and you're like, that's only 5 points. Maybe I don't need it. But then you get to the end of the semester and my gosh, you needed those 5 points to get you from the B to the A, or whatever it might be. I want you to pledge that you're going to turn every single thing in, and you have to turn it in on time. Understand, this is a college level class. The expectations of you are greater, and you need to get those things turned in, everything in and on time. And the final thing, my final success tip, is use resources that are available to you as of day one. I don't want you to wait and get lost and confused. And we're going to be sharing a lot about resources that are available to you today, whether they be online, whether they be in person, your faculty or a resource, but whatever it might be, I want you to use resources that are available to you starting day one. That's tutoring. That's going onto the library resource and using that. It's using our counseling services, whatever it might be. I want you to use resources day one, and reach out if you need something, because that's what we're here for. I do want to also address very briefly, and this is kind of a Debbie Downer, but that's COVID. We are in a slight COVID surge. We do not require masks on campus. We do encourage you to have them, especially if you're coming face to face. We do ask every day that you do a personal check if you're coming personally onto campus, just to make sure you're feeling okay. And if you're not, maybe not be there. If you do test positive or you've been exposed, we have a self-report form that we need you to fill out through eForms, and Student Success and Persistence, my area, will be in touch with you and help guide you through that process and be your resource. So it came up at the last new student orientation, and I didn't feel like I did a very good job of addressing COVID, but just want you to know we do have plans in place to help you manage that. But we ask that you be healthy and safe, and that if there is an issue that you communicate to my staff. All right, guys, have a great semester. Ask your questions. A lot of us are here to answer those questions for you. And so let's have a great day. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Okay, I think we are ready to get going, Marcelli. Again, welcome everyone. My name is Charlotte Wesley. I failed to mention that earlier, and I am a part of Student Success and Persistence. My title is the Advising and Success Coordinator. So Student Success and Persistence means just that, the success and the persistence of our students. So again, like I said, by the end of this new student orientation, we hope that we have given you tools and equip you to be successful. Okay, so with that, our first presenter is going to be one of your instructors, Matt Lyles, and he's going to brief us a little bit about your Eagle Mail and the importance of utilizing your Eagle Mail. So, Matt, are you ready?
Sure. Do we not play that little video that we used to play? Okay.
Yes, there it is. There we go.
Let me make sure I share my, I forgot to make sure that you guys can hear it. One sec. Okay.
Hey, we can't hear it, Mariceli.
Okay, let me just stop sharing real quick and I'll start again. One sec.
All right. I guess I'll just jump in here. Okay. Hi, folks. My name is Matt Wiles. I teach in the math department. Your Eagle Mail. It's going to be your student email your entire time at CTC. It is so important that you check this often. It is the way that we as a college communicate with you, especially in these times when things can change at the drop of a hat. You know, maybe we have somebody who self-reports in one of our classes and we need to make a change immediately. We need to be able to communicate with you, and this is one of the ways we do it. You're going to hear from financial aid in just a little bit. The way they're going to communicate with you is going to be through your Eagle Mail. There's going to be lots of different ways where this is going to be very important. It may be a brief period of time before your Eagle Mail goes active. I was told, I believe, cert rolls. Is that a true statement? Okay, so it may be a week or two before your Eagle Mail becomes active. If it's not going to be something that you want to use as your primary email, you can do things like set it up to forward to a different email address. So if you just want to make sure that you're receiving it, but you want to be checking it at a different place, you can do that. So there's lots of stuff right off of the CTC website right there. If you click under the students thing, there's information right there to get it going. There's a link to Eagle Mail right there. But this is the way we communicate with you. If you have a question, you can email your professor. We'll email you right back. Sometimes if we get email from some kind of random, I had students that have had email addresses from when they were younger, and sometimes they're kind of off the wall. Like, I didn't know that Final Fantasy was a video game. And so somebody had this email address, Final Fantasy something, something. I'm like, yikes, I don't want that. And I'm about to hit delete until I figure out, oh, that's a college algebra question. You know what I mean? I'm like, yikes. So you want to be careful if you're using a private email address to email somebody at the college that it looks like you and not necessarily something random. You know what I mean? Make sure that it's a little bit more descriptive, whatever that needs to look like. But your Eagle Mail, communication. I want to say, I believe the Chancellor said it just a few minutes ago, and I want to reiterate it. The only bad question is the one you don't ask. You know, ask your professor, ask your advisor, ask your counselor, ask financial aid, ask somebody. If you have a question, there's an answer somewhere. You just have to ask. If we don't know, we will help you find it. You know what I mean? Especially in class. You know, Dean Starkey said that your syllabus is your roadmap to success. Your passport, I think, is the word she chose. Dr. Reese is going to talk more about this in a minute when you get to Blackboard. I'll let her do that there, but please pay attention to that syllabus. It is crucial to the plan. Ask questions and just don't be afraid to reach out. I'm a math teacher and I can't tell you how many times I have students that's like, well, I just didn't want to bother you. Your job as a student is to understand. That's your job. And so you need to understand. And if you're not, please ask. We cannot read your minds. Now that we're going to be back in person, we can see your face. And a lot of times we can look at your face and go, you have a question. You know, when we were online, that was a little trickier proposition. But here in person, we'll be able to go, oh, yeah, why don't you go ahead and ask that question right there? I can see that you have one, you know, but please ask your questions. Think of your Eagle Mail as like a business email. If you work for somebody, you're going to check your work email. Think of your Eagle Mail as the same thing. Your job is as a student, and you need to make sure that you're checking that email so that you're interacting and communicating well. And welcome, folks.
Great.
Thank you, Professor Miles. There's been a lot of questions. I just want to bring it up because I keep seeing it over again in the chat. Google
email.
account has been disabled by your Google Workspace administration. Please contact your administrator for help. That may have been the case. And basically, we had a situation where we had to disable a lot of emails because they were basically creating spam with our emails. And so what we have had to do is you're going to have to wait for what we call cert roll. And that happens a little bit at pretty much about, depending on when your classes begin, it could be a week or so after your classes begin. That does not mean that you're not going to continue. It could be up to 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks?
Okay.
Okay, so thank
2
you.
to 3.
Faculty knows this better than I do. When cert roll is, because that's something that's more important to them and they work with constantly. So if for some reason you're not able to access your email you can ask your faculty member for each class when their cert date is. The faculty knows what that is. And then with that, you'll be able, it might be 2 or 3 days after that, you'll be able to get your email. We're hoping that this is going to be resolved soon, but we want to make sure that you're aware that for now, this is something we had to do. Still communicate with your faculty with your emails. Yes, Professor Lyles.
Dr. Reese will hit this in just a second, but it relates to email as well. If you are a brand new student, and I'm assuming that if you're at this, most of you are, that if your Eagle Mail does not work right now, in the meantime, as you have access to Blackboard, which is what Dr. Reese is hitting next, the announcements sections of each of your courses, be checking that. If you have the messages section, it'll say if you have a new message, be checking that as well, so that if you have an announcement for a class, if we have to make some sort of a change or give you some sort of information and your email's not up yet, that's still a way that we can communicate with you. So especially here in the first couple of weeks before your Eagle Mail goes active in Blackboard, if the moment you click on a class, the first thing you see is going to be announcements. And so be checking each of your classes regularly, especially until your email becomes active. But even after that, that's another way that we communicate with you as your professors. So that's a good way to kind of get us started until your Eagle Mail is active. And then once you're up, be checking both. There's a messaging system inside of Blackboard, and if Angela, I'm sorry if I'm stealing some of your thunder here, that can act like email. So if your Eagle Mail's not up yet and you want to send a private message to your professor, if you log into the course there in Blackboard on the left menu, I can't tell if I'm pointing the correct way, but there's a messages link. If you click on that, you can send your professor a message there before so you don't have to wait for your Eagle Mail to come up. So that's a way where you can, it's going to be kind of like Eagle Mail in the transition as well. So that gives you an extra option to kind of get us started here.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Lyles, for that information. So students now, are you unsure about how to get started with your classes? Have questions about where to find this syllabus that everyone is talking about? Our next presenter, Angela Reese, is going to talk to you about Blackboard. Blackboard is our system for students to use to access their class, the meat of going to school. So Angela, if you are ready, we are ready for you.
I am ready. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope wonderful. I know you can't really respond since all of you are on mute, but I am enjoying, like Dr. Garrett, seeing pages and pages of students. How exciting. Thank you so much for being here today. A lot of you were saying that you're nervous and you have questions. Keep them coming. If we miss it, because there's so many questions coming in, it's fantastic. Make sure to put it back up if we miss yours. I did see one pop up regarding what do I do if I go in the field, or what happens if I'm sick. I'm going to cover some of that with this quick Blackboard overview. I also want to let you know, and I will ask Bruce to please put into the chat the link for a session that I'm going to be doing next week, I believe it is, or the following week, September 1st.
Yes, at 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock?
Yep, September
Okay.
1st.
Thank you so much. So if you need more than what I'm showing today, you can log back in, join us on September 1st at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we will go into every question that you have. We will explore, we will take our time. Today I only have a few minutes. So with that, let me just show you how to find Blackboard. And I already know the question that's about to pop up. So let me go ahead and answer this one first. As Professor Lyle said, most of you are new since you were here today at New Student Orientation. You will not have access to class or even be able to sign in to Blackboard until Friday afternoon. Around noon is the earliest I've ever seen it released. Sometimes it takes a few hours after that. So if your classes start Monday the 23rd, this Friday, which is tomorrow, you'll be able to, at some point in the day, log into your Blackboard account and start looking around, trying to get familiar with it, even using an orientation that they have put together for you. So where do I go? Well, this is the CTC homepage. It's ctcd.edu. There are a million ways to get to Blackboard. I'm going to show you one of those million ways. So if you'll just scroll down to the bottom, and I'm going to go quickly, so I hope nobody gets dizzy, but toward the bottom, you'll see a bunch of quick links, and one of the quick links is for Blackboard. Once you click on it, it is going to take you to the Blackboard login screen. Here you will enter your username and your password. We do have links to show you what your username and password are, but just quickly, your username is basically a lowercase c and your student ID. Again, that's a lowercase c, student ID. Your password is going to be your birth date, month, day, year. So 6 digits. And then once you log in, you'll be taken to the following screen. Here you will be able to see a lot of different resources, and I'm not going into all of that right now. The main thing I want to show you is where those classes are. So yours might be arranged slightly different than mine because I do have a faculty login, but here you can see all of my courses. You see ones that I still have open from the summer, plus I have classes that are going to start on August 23rd. So once we go into a class, which I'm going to go into my USI 1301 course as a student. So this is what, if you're in my class starting Monday the 23rd, this is what you will see when you log in. It goes directly to my announcements page. Professor Lyles alluded to the announcements, which is where you go to find out great information from your faculty. Keep in mind that each faculty member is different. We all have different ways of doing things. While you will be able to see the same type of information, it might be presented differently. So for example, my department chair, he likes to use the messaging tool and messages every student at the same time to get conversations going. I like to use my announcements and the discussion board. So again, we each do it a little bit different. But as Professor Lyles said, most of the information you will see right when you log in. So one thing I just want to point out, our buildings sometimes are a little chilly, sometimes they're a little warm, so be prepared. You'll notice that I put in my class, bring a jacket, it's cold. So this is where I put some information. I just did it yesterday because I realized how chilly our building was. So make sure to be prepared for that. One thing that I would suggest once you log in is look through all of the announcements. If you didn't know, because you are a student with us, as soon as you have your Eagle Mail account, if you do not have Office 365, you're able to get it for free. You're also able to see these instructions for, at least in my class, how to get started with your Eagle Mail, and the list goes on and on. I'm not going to read all of these to you, but just know the important information is there. On the left-hand side of the screen, there are a lot of things that are going to be the same in every class. One that I'm going to quickly go over, but you're going to need to spend time reading it and watching the video to understand what to do, is our BioSig ID. We now have not only BioSig ID, but also BioSite ID that is rolling out this fall. These are instructions that are going to explain to you what BioSig and BioSite are. Really what this is for us to ensure that the person taking the class is the person that's actually doing the class, the person registered. So you do have to create a BioSig ID, which I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. And then also to paired with that, when you take your exams, BioSite ID is also going to be used. And basically this is like a proctoring service that uses your camera on your computer. If you don't have a camera on your computer, they also have the option for you to use your phone to be the camera for you. So again, there is a great video for that. There's wonderful help. I've helped pilot this in the spring semester. None of my students had an issue. Everything was smooth sailing. So don't be worried if this sounds new and overwhelming. It's not, I promise. And like I said, I will show you what part of this looks like. So this is one thing, regardless of the class that you're in, every single class that uses Blackboard will be using this. So once you set it up, you're done. You don't have to go through and set up the whole process again. It's a one-time, set it up. All you need to remember is your password. And again, I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. The next area we have over here, and I skipped start here, people that are new to Blackboard, you might just want to read over that. It's a lot of different resources. Most of this is going to be the same in every class. So it's just a good idea to familiarize yourself with Blackboard. Here's that messaging tool that Professor Lyles mentioned. So if you don't have your Eagle Mail, which most of you probably do not, you can go in here and you can create a message to your instructor. I can't click on that right now because it will show you all of my students, and for FERPA, I'm not allowed to do that. But if I were to create message, you would see everybody that's in your class along with who your instructor is. Next to your instructor's name, in parentheses, it will say SME, SME. That's how you know who your instructor is. Below that, we have instructor information where you can see our phone numbers, our email addresses, our office hours, how to get a hold of us, how to get a hold of our supervisor, should you need anything. Now, going on, this is the biggest part of your entire course. Dean Starkey, Professor Lyles, Charlotte, so many people have already said how important this is. The syllabus. In every single Blackboard course, you will have access to a syllabus. This is your roadmap to success. Read it, understand it. If you don't, ask questions and follow it. This is where everything is. Syllabus page 1 typically gives you just a general overview of the course, what you expect to learn, what type of book you have. You'll notice in my course, this is a free book. So all you have to do is click on the link and you are ready to roll. We have our incomplete policy, which is the same for every student. And then toward the bottom, you'll have frequently asked questions if your instructor has that. And then all the way at the bottom, you will see this new student orientation. So if you if you're not able to come to my session on September 1st, or you're just excited right now and tomorrow you want to get started, you want to know more, you can click on this link right here and it's going to take you to our DEETS, Distance Education and Education Technology, to their website, and they have a great overview of Blackboard. Now, syllabus page 2 is the actual roadmap. This is where you go to say, what am I supposed to do, when, and how? At the top, this is critical that you pay attention to this, delivery terms. This is what tells you what type of class you have registered for and what the start and end dates are. A lot of people don't know that we have multiple start dates. We have multiple delivery modes. So this one that I'm teaching, that I'm showing you, is a lecture course, meaning they have to show up, come to class. We're still using Blackboard, but they have to meet with me, come to class on Mondays and Wednesdays. So if this were an online course, it would say this is an online lecture course, or this is a self-paced course. So this will tell you that type of class as well as the start and end date. So you can't say, well, I didn't know that this was only an 8-week course, or was this a 16-week course? Professor Lyles, did you want to add something?
I just wanted to reiterate what you literally just said. I had a course this summer that was only 5 weeks, and which I think is way too short for a course. And I had a student about week 4 tell me that they had no idea that it was only a 5-week course. So listen to her right here at the top of the screen, delivery and terms. It is very important. Make sure that our normal semester courses are 16 weeks. You can see by the start and end date that they're far apart, but pay attention to that. She really is, this is important information.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So delivery terms tells you all of that. And then if you're in an online class or even in a self-paced online class, it's also going to tell you right there when that drop date is, the census date. So if you don't show up to your classes in the first week of an 8-week course or the first 2 weeks of a 16-week course, you will be removed from class. And it doesn't just mean sign in. It means be active in the course with at least one activity. So make sure that you are paying attention to what it says under this delivery terms, or you will be dropped from your courses. So as long as you do what you're supposed to do, you're good to go. Like Dean Starkey said, pay attention, follow the syllabus. For online classes, great question. That's the first question I saw pop up. I'm sorry if I've missed a few. But for online classes, it will tell you on this page whether or not you're required to show up for a live lecture on the computer. So it depends on the instructor. Make sure that you look to see what they have listed there and the type of course you have. But for a true traditional online class, we don't typically have that. It's just where you work through the schedule of assignments. Your instructor may have things for you to watch, but it typically isn't at a specific time. But again, the syllabus will tell you that. As you move down to your schedule of assignments. So this one looks a little crazy because it is a lecture course. So I have tentative dates of when I think I will be finished talking about a subject, but I can be long-winded. So sometimes that changes. So this one looks a little bit crazy. But typically you are going to see in this column right here, the dates that things have to be turned in by. So make sure that you are paying attention to those dates. If you are in a self-paced course, what that means is you have suggested due dates, which really means, and I'm not going to say to do this, but it's true, you can turn in every assignment on the last day of the course. We do not suggest that. We suggest following the suggested dates to make sure that you're on track. Like Professor Lyles, I had a course this summer, it was 5 weeks. The student is contacting me now saying, well, I just didn't have time to finish. I tried on the last day of course, didn't have time. Well, that's because you waited till the very last day of the course to start. So please don't do that because there's just not enough time. We build it over the course and give you those dates to help you follow them, to make sure that that you are on track. So again, as you can see, everything is here. This is something that we would suggest that you print out, or at least I suggest it because I am somebody who likes to cross off, highlight, check, print it out. See if you've actually done it. I had another student, I'm not real sure what assignments he submitted to me. It was an online class and it was nothing that I had assigned. He went through the book and there were some questions in the book that he went through and answered, which was great. It was a great study guide, but it was nothing that was required for the course. So this right here, if you follow this, it will show you exactly what you need to be successful in the course. A little bit further down, you are going to see how we grade. So you will see right here under this course grade, this is how the points are broken up. So you see mine's on 1,000 points. So you want to make sure to maximize and get all the points that you can. I'm not sure how many of you are quick with math, but I'm sure Professor Lyles can tell you that I'm right, that if you only take the exams, you're not going to pass my class. You have to do the written work. There's not enough points there to give you to make an A or even a C. So do the written work, communicate. We pick these assignments for a reason to help you be successful. And I'm being really long-winded, so let me move on. So syllabus again, let's get back up to the top. This again is exactly where you need to go. Now I'm going to show you a little bit more about that biosig that some of you, I'm sure, are thinking, well, what's going on here? All right, so my biosig, I've already set mine up for my student account. So I've already created my biosig ID, which I would have done under biosig ID enrollment. So now I'm going to verify that I am who I say I am. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to click on lessons verification and notice before I click on this, you don't see any of the lessons. So now I'm going to click on it. It's going to redirect us. And now it's going to ask me for my password. So now I'm going to draw in my password. Ooh, I didn't do that one very good. Let's see if it likes it. All right, so congratulations. I did a great job on my biosig verification. So now you can see here that all of my lessons are showing up. So anybody in my courses, now you see everything that you need. And these lessons all go into one of them just so you can see what that looks like. But within each lesson, you're going to see some standard stuff for each course, the introduction, your learning objectives. Then it's going to show you your learning activities, and then it's going to tell you what those assignments are. All of this matches syllabus page 2. So with that, I believe my time is up and I've gone over by 2 minutes or 4 minutes. So what I want you to do is make sure to, once you have a chance to get into your class, look around, put down questions that you have to ask your instructor. And then if you still need extra help, come see us on September 1st at 2. Bruce, is this something that they can watch later if they cannot attend?
Yes, ma'am, they can. If you're unable to attend the session, we normally record these sessions and we put them on YouTube later on during that day. And so they will be out there on YouTube for you to access at your leisure. And so, yes, definitely.
Okay.
I'm going to put the chat in there one more time,
Okay.
or the link in there one more time.
So while you're doing that, I do want to answer a question that I saw regarding biosig. You cannot set up your biosig until you have access to your course. So on Friday afternoon, you should have access. You can go in, you can get set up. Remember that, let's just say you're taking 4 classes. You only have to set it up in one class, but then you verify in all of your classes, if that makes sense. So you set it up once, then you verify. And then when it's time for your exams, you will have to verify again before each exam. Did I miss any other questions? that came in the chat?
No, I think we're doing a good job with answering them as they come through.
Okay, great.
Okay, everyone. Next we are at one of my favorite parts of new student orientation, and it is the faculty panel. So on this panel, you have a couple of faculty that are here to answer your questions. So they will offer some tips for you, tips that they are looking for from their students. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to unmute yourself to ask the question, or you can place the question in the chat. Okay, with us, we have Professor Matt Lyles and Angela Reese again.
Hello.
I wanted to reiterate something that a question that was asked a moment ago about online courses with actual timed lectures. So during this COVID stuff, we had to improvise and make new things up as we went, and so we started a new type of course called SVL. Technically, it stands for synchronous virtual learning, but what does it mean? It means live streamed at a specific time. So we still have some SVL courses. It's different per department. I know I'm in the math department. I know in our department, we have some SVL classes in the evenings. So if your course says SVL, it's a specific time. It's like an in-person class, just via some sort of Zoom type or WebEx type of a thing. And it's different per instructor, but that will for sure be a specific time. The other ones online are typically like a pre-recorded thing or just just written work, one way or the other. But yeah, like Dr. Reese said, make sure you're reading that syllabus and it'll answer that specific question. What other kind of questions do we have? How do we find out our start dates for classes? So in Blackboard, it says that where Dr. Reese showed on, oh Lord, what page was that?
Syllabus page 2 under delivery terms.
So my online director emailed me just a moment ago, said she thought that students already have access to Blackboard. So students, you could check that. Normally it's Friday, but it looks like from my view that you might have access already.
So what questions do y'all have? Bring them in. Put them on the chat. We'll make sure to answer those that you might have a question about as it pertains to class. One thing that I would like to share with y'all that I think somebody said earlier they didn't want to be a Debbie Downer, and neither do I. But at the same time, I also want to ensure that everybody is approaching this in the right way. You might be nervous. You might be overwhelmed. We understand that, you know, you have life other than CTC. We understand that you might have kids, or you might have parents, or you might have a full-time job or 3 jobs. We understand all of that. Don't let that overwhelm you though. Time management is extremely important, which I'm going to touch on in a second. But with that, one thing I want to share is that some students get overwhelmed and start searching for an easy way out. Don't search for an easy way out. This is your education. This is about knowledge. This isn't about just getting an A in the class. This is about truly being able to apply what you've learned into the real world. And so some students will go find, and yes, we are aware of Course Hero and all the other sites out there that have papers for free or that you can pay for. What we want you to know, though, is that we do use Safe Assign at the college, which does run everything through a plagiarism checker. So don't be tempted by that. Instead, be prepared. So one thing I like to do, and this is, you can handle it however you want. I know we're in the age of technology, and trust me, I'm there with you. But at the same time, there are certain things that I like to touch and feel and see and cross. So what I did when I was a full-time student, a full-time parent, working full-time and part-time, and all the other things going on in life, I made a huge desk calendar. Yes, they still have those. That's big and you can write on it. So I would take all of my syllabi from all the courses I was teaching and taking, and I would write everything down, everything that was due, when it was due, what it was. And then I said, okay, hands off. Okay, I've got my plan for the entire semester. Now I'm just going to look at week 1. I'm looking at week 1. What do I have to do in week 1? What is due by the end of this week? And then I would break it down into today. If something didn't get finished for the day, even if that was a little, just a 30-minute run that I needed just for myself, I would make sure that that was part of my plan, that all of that is listed. That will help you be on track for success and help at least reduce some of that stress you're feeling. As we have all said, I believe, communicate with us, talk to us. We're people too. If we don't know what's going on, we can't help you. So just reach out to us and let us know how we can help you. And that would be with all of your instructors.
I'm
I
going to
just,
pop in and say, how important is communicating with your instructors and letting them know what's going on? I know you kind of mentioned this already, but I would really like to know what your stressful thought is about this.
How do we really feel about it? Yes. Communication, yes. I'd like to reiterate, reemphasize what Dr. Reese said about your time management. And it really is about the learning. You know, if you cram, if you wait till the buzzer and you're like, I gotta get this done, your brain doesn't have the time to really process the concepts. If you do it in small chunks and spread it out over time and having a planner or some kind of way where you have it organized, where I think Dean Starkey may have said it earlier, you know, every day, you know, get into it every day, do some every day. It lets your brain process the bits and make it part of your thinking. And then when it comes time where you have to prepare for a quiz or an exam or whatever, you've already had the time for your brain to digest it. You can just do a brief review, get a good night's sleep, and you're going to do so much better than if you're just trying to cram a bunch of stuff and hoping you remember it. And then you get on that exam, and you all know exactly what I'm talking about. When you get on the exam and you get that blank feeling like you're staring at an empty whiteboard, and you just go, uh-oh, and you have that panic feeling. We want to avoid the panic. We want you to feel completely prepared, and we want you to succeed. Also, there's some things that you should know for resources that I haven't seen come up yet. There's a lot of tutoring opportunities on campus. We have a thing across from the bookstore. There's the building where Mariceli resides. And in that building, we have, my brain just went totally blank, but help me out.
Academic studio.
Academic studio.
Academic
You go in
Studio.
that building and you go up the stairs and boom, academic studio. They are there to help you in any subject. Go in the math department. I'm in the math department and we're over there in the planetarium building. We have a new building number. It's 267, but it numbers whatever. And we have a math lab where you can have free math tutoring. You just walk in. You don't have to make an appointment. Your professors have office hours. Office hours are for you. They're to answer your questions and to help you with the course. Do that. Some professors like you to make an appointment, but most are just like, come on down. I can speak for myself. I don't want an appointment in my office hours. I want you to come on. You know, I will be there when my office hours say I'm there. I can arrange other hours if necessary if you can't make them. But office hours are there to help. That's on the syllabus. Go get help. Send an email. Do something. But there's lots of stuff out there. Go get it. You know, don't sit there and go, I don't want to be a bother. That doesn't fly. You know what I mean? If you have a question, ask it. Academic studio. I know we have a math lab. Talk to your professor, office hours, email. I can't speak for other departments. Some other departments may. Oh, for English and other classes where you write papers, the library has a service where they can help you with your paper. And somebody else is going to know more information about that than me, but I know that service exists. What can somebody say about that? Anyone?
If you'll log on to the library website, it's paper review. Not only will, and it's a 24-hour return time. So you submit your paper, they will review it and give you suggestions. They also are a great resource if you don't understand different citation protocols that you have to follow. If it's APA, if it's MLA, they are experts in all of that, and they will help you with all of that. They have all the style guides available. Because that is a big deal, is using the right site, you know, whatever you get assigned, your syllabus is going to tell you have to use, make sure you're aware of that. So the library has all of that. The academic studio can help you as well on that, but the library is specific on paper reviews.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For this orientation, if you missed some of it, is there any way I can go back and see what I've missed?
Yes, there will be
Yes.
after we're done here, and it'll probably be tomorrow. Our videographer will put this over on YouTube. And when she does that, I will put a link on the new student orientation page for that as well. It'll be available on YouTube, and we'll have the link out there. So if you visit the CTC YouTube page, it should be there possibly tomorrow. I know our videographer who does that, puts it on YouTube, is tied up all day today with the faculty pre-service. So it'll probably be tomorrow before she gets to it. But yes, it will be available on the CTC YouTube page at a later date.
Okay. Also, for our student ID and passing parking pass or whatever, if we have classes in person, which I have to see from my class schedule, if when we get that, do I have to make an appointment to go get it, or do I can just?
No, I think you can just walk into the enrollment center. If you walk into the enrollment center, take a left, there's a little office on the left-hand side where you get your student ID. And then behind the enrollment center is the campus police office, and they will hook you up with your parking pass. And Chief Berrigan is going to talk about that here briefly. Okay. And
And will
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is the last question. And will our class schedules be sent, or do we have to just look it up on our Blackboard or whatever?
You have to look them up on your own. Nobody sends them to you. You should be
Okay.
able to see them in Web Advisor
Okay.
or Eagle self-service, and you should be able to log in and see your actual schedule there.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
You're
Do
welcome.
we need
One
to put a
question that
link?
keeps recurring, let me get to it before we move on, is that when is the last day to pay for classes?
You're supposed to within 24 hours of registration, you're supposed to pay, or you may be dropped. The only exception to that is if you already have your financial aid set up, then your financial aid will take care of it. With Ms. Crevison will explain it a little bit. But any time after you register, after that 24 hours after you register, if you may be dropped from your course if you have not paid, especially that first day of class. If you haven't paid, you will pretty much be automatically dropped.
Can I say one thing too about and part of being prepared? A lot of people love 9 o'clock classes, which means the parking lots are extremely busy from about 8:45 to 9:15. So if you want to be on time and have your preferred seat and just be ready and prepared and not stressed out because you can't get to class on time because you can't find a parking spot, there are plenty of spots, but everybody wants to park right next to the building. So unless you want to get there really early, you're probably not going to get a parking spot right next to the building. So be prepared, save some time to walk. So if you need to, if you're not somebody who is an early bird, just make sure that you're prepared for that. And especially the first day, there will be people outside directing you, guiding you. But at the same time, just make sure you have enough time to get from place to place.
There's a question in the chat says, I'm looking for my classes now, but it says I already have overdue assignments. My classes don't start until Monday. Please help. I'm wondering if maybe the professor it's something that has to do like the biosig or something like that.
I would
I'm
say,
not sure. I would reach out to the individual instructor and just
exactly.
ask them
Yeah,
regarding
send a
that. But
message
yeah,
to your instructor in Blackboard and
yes.
ask. Most likely, it's when they copy a course for us in Blackboard, they typically copy a course that we've done in the past, and maybe they forgot to change the due date on one of them or something. It's probably a goof because that you haven't started the course yet. So just send them a quick message and you'll clear it up really quickly.
And we have a couple of financial aid questions. I know, Pearl, you're about to come up. It says, I paid the remaining balance for my classes after financial aid, but my account now says negative balance again. Do I owe more?
I can tell you that typically means we owe you. A negative balance normally from the business office side will indicate that your charges were $100, we gave you $200, you have a negative balance of $100 now because we owe you money. It's a balance. But to verify if you actually owe, I always recommend students contact the business office directly and let them know that they have a concern that there's some charges due.
Okay. And the next question regarding financial aid, if you already have financial aid set up, you won't be dropped from the class. Will the instructor be aware of this, that you've completed financial aid and you just might not have it yet?
The instructor is not aware of what financial aid you have or don't have. So let me clarify. When a student tells me that I've completed my FAFSA process, that simply means you did your financial aid application with Department of Ed. But until you accept and see an award notice on financial aid's website, then you don't have financial aid. So a lot of students just make the assumption once they've completed the FAFSA, their file is complete. It may or may not be, but you need to verify that with the financial aid office. If your financial aid is all set up and you're within 10 days of starting your classes, we will have already transmitted that money to the business office, which is what prevents you from being dropped. That's how your instructor knows whether or not your classes are paid for, as to whether or not you've been dropped from the course. So no, the instructor does not know what your financial aid situation is, if the funds have transmitted or not. The only way they know you may not have had financial aid for your classes is if you end up getting dropped from those classes for non-payment. So don't ever assume you're okay. Make sure with financial aid that you're okay.
All right, here's one more question for you, Pearl. Have both tuition assistance from the Army and FAFSA. Would y'all take it from the Army TA and then have the rest of the money left reimbursed?
Another great business office question. I can tell you best practices. The financial aid office transmits any financial aid that you have over to the business office if it came from the Department of Education. So that means FAFSA funds. Any student loan aid, SEOG, and we also process work study. Other than that, we do not process TA or VA or any of those other sources, exemptions that you might be using. So what typically happens as a rule of thumb, I can tell you that if you have TA and it's available, they will use it first. If you have TA and it's not available yet, but it's going to come in, they will use your Pell Grant, for instance, if you were awarded that, because it's already out there. And then when the TA pays, they reimburse your Pell Grant back to the student. But that is definitely another process that's handled by the business office directly.
All right, everybody,
last...
we'll go back to, let's finish up the faculty panel before we continue with the financial aid questions, because I want to be cognizant of the faculty's time. And we'll go back to those financial aid questions in a minute. Pearl will be up next. Some of the other things that I have normally seen with the faculty has been that students basically start coming to you and say, oh, I got sick, or I have this situation, and then, or sometimes they don't tell you at all. And then what happens when they have all these classes and all these things going on, and the student really doesn't tell you the whole story, or only does part of it, and then later on at the end of the semester they say, hey, I had this situation. Can you address that for us a little bit?
Did we mention communication? So yes, it is better to hit it early than later. If you know you're going to miss class before that class happens, either tell your professor in person or send them an email. Sometimes both isn't a bad thing. You know, if I'm a visual person, so if I can read it in an email, I'm more likely to remember it. I can only speak for myself there, but you know, good communication helps in more than one way, really reemphasizes. If you're sick or something comes up kind of spur of the moment and you can't do it ahead of time, that's okay. We realize that life happens, but the moment that you can communicate with us, please do that. If you wait till December and you say, oh, by the way, I blah, blah, blah in September, or I missed, like, where have you been for 3 months? You know what I mean? I say this typically in these new student orientations. We get these people every semester that will come to us at the last week of the course, or even after the last week of the course, and they say, how can I raise my grade? And the problem with that is timing. You know, the time to think about when you can raise your grade is not in December. It's in August. You know what I mean? You want to start early with what Dr. Reese was saying. Look at the syllabus. Make yourself a plan of action. The moment you are struggling, reach out and get help, whether it's with writing a paper or getting a math question answered, or you don't understand a concept in your business class. Go to your professor's office hours, email them, something. Be proactive and don't wait till the end. The end is, it's too late to fix it. You know what I mean? We want you to succeed. We're putting all these things out there with the Student Success Office, giving us academic advising, giving us, my brain keeps turning off with the tutoring thing.
Academic studio.
Academic studio, you know, math lab, office hours, all these things. We want you to succeed, but we need you to do your part as well and ask us early and often so that we can help yourself and get you down the road to where it is that you want to go.
One thing in Blackboard that I didn't show you because I'm not a student, I really can't show you, but I should have shown you where it was, is a place called My Grades. Under My Grades, you will see every assignment that's due. You will see how many total points you have at any given moment. You will see if you submitted the assignment. So students will email me sometimes saying, or message me saying, hey, did I do that assignment? Well, you can figure out if you have or not by going to My Grades. It will show you if it is submitted. It will show you if it's complete. So in my classes, you have to do a discussion board, initial post plus 3 replies. If that is not complete, meaning you didn't do all of the requirements, it will show you a blue bubble instead of a yellow bubble. Once it's yellow, you know you finished. And then once the instructor grades it, instead of the bubble, you will have a grade. And then you might also have feedback listed right next to it. So that's a great way, in addition to the syllabus, because I like to double check myself. Syllabus, cross it off, go to My Grades, make sure I did it, make sure I actually submitted it.
One thing I had, Professor Lyles, I did have a student that reached out to me. He thought he was being proactive, and I believe it was a face-to-face class, but he was following the syllabus and he went through and he completed his assignment. So he thought everything on the syllabus, but he did not attend class. Is that an okay thing? What would you, the professor, say to that student?
Well, we've already said this, go to class, go to class, go to class, because the one way you can make for certain that you are following and doing everything that you're supposed to do is by interacting with your professor. So sometimes things can sneak past you if you're not doing that. If it's a face-to-face class, it means face-to-face. It doesn't mean optional face-to-face. You know what I mean? And I can speak as a math professor, it is significantly easier to learn from a live person than it is from a book. Now, that may be true for other subjects as well. I don't teach those, so I'm not as well versed in that. But I can tell you as a math teacher, come to class, you will do better. I promise.
And some instructors also have points tied to attendance. So if you're there, active, participating, not there sleeping, actually there, paying attention, being interactive, you get points for that in some classes.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you to the faculty panel. That has been a lot of great information. It has been amazing, and I know that you guys have some other things that you need to be doing today to get ready for your classes next week. So I want to say thank you very much for that, and we will see you around campus soon.
I put my email in the chat there if anybody has any questions after we
Awesome.
on down the road here. So, welcome to CTC, everybody. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, our next presenter is going to be from financial aid. So this is Pearl Creviston. So she should be able to answer, or I know she will answer your burning questions about financial aid. Pearl?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to CTC. Go Eagles. I have posted a web link in there with a note that said free money. We are serious. Any of you that have heard commercials have seen advertisements about come to CTC for free. Free financial aid money is ARP and CRRSA, CRRSA. These are two grants that we are awarding to students who are registering in the fall term right now. The CRRSA grant is $500 and the ARP grant is $2,000 if you're in 12 hours or more, or if you're in 11 hours or less, down to 3, then you'll get $1,000. This is in addition to what I normally talk to you about, which is the FAFSA, financial aid, Pell Grant, student loans, SEOG, and scholarships. So these grants are available. I posted the link. You can link directly to the applications and go in and complete those. They only take a few minutes and submit them. But one of the big questions, because we have a whole lot of students that have already done this, and I wanted to address that today, the funds will not be released until mid-September. There is something that the school uses to release these funds, and it's called a census date. What that means to you as a student is that that's the last day you can drop classes for the fall term that you're registering in right now for August. So we keep those funds available until we verify enrollment and how many hours you're in, and then we will release that money to the business office at that time. If on the ARP application you stated, I want those funds used for my fall tuition, there was a little checkbox and it said fall, you want to use that for your fall payments, they're going to pay for your classes at that time. What it also means is if you check that block, the business office knows that you wanted those funds applied and they are not supposed to be dropping you from those classes in the meantime. So that was a big confusion for a lot of students when we started doing this. They said, I want my classes paid, but on your class statement, it shows you still owe money for those classes. The business office knows that, and they have your application for the ARP funding and are not supposed to drop you from your classes until that, after that, because if for some reason you've dropped your classes by then and you don't receive the aid, then you wouldn't be eligible for it in the first place. But that is how the money works. You complete the application, it gets processed through to our office. We will award those funds and put them in an estimated status. And a lot of people said, I can't accept it. No, you cannot accept it. We will accept it for you at the appropriate time, which I do anticipate to be about the 22nd of September. And we will release that to the business office. Now, some of you don't check to have it done because you didn't want them paid with that funding. So that funding will be sent directly to you. So as a student, anytime you're receiving any type of financial aid, assistance, or payments to you, you want to make sure you sign up for direct deposit online. You do that under student finance on student self-serve. That's not financial aid, it's student finance. Under finance, it'll have a place where it says enter my banking information, and what they need is your routing number and your account number. You put that in electronically, it'll submit it, and then when it's time to cut any balance checks, whether it be from student loans, Pell Grant, scholarships, or this funding for the 2 grants we're offering right now, it'll be simply direct deposited into your account. So I highly recommend that, especially with our population of military that move a lot. Your bank account doesn't usually move with you. A lot of people in the military keep a bank account for the stability of their pay to be deposited into. So make sure you use bank account information if at all possible. Otherwise, they will certainly mail you paper checks to the address we have on file. Normally, I talk to you about the FAFSA application, and I can tell you that classes are starting on the 23rd, and if you haven't even done a FAFSA yet, it may not, and more than likely will not be processed in time for you to have your classes paid for by Monday, because we're already at Thursday and it takes 3 to 5 business days for the FAFSA to be sent to us. So if you complete it after you've already registered, paid for your courses, used other funding to pay for your courses, your aid file does complete later on in the semester, then we will go back and reimburse any aid eligibility that you qualify for. So don't not do it because you've missed a deadline or you think it's too late. Always do the FAFSA anyway, because at any point throughout the year, because we have open enrollment, we will still process that FAFSA application. If you're using TA, VA, you have a tuition exemption or any of these things, as I spoke to Bruce about earlier, the business office will process payments for those types of funding. The only financial aid we process in financial aid office are the scholarships that you have received and been awarded, and any of your FAFSA student loans, Pell Grant, SCOG, and work study. I mentioned work study. That's another option for a student that qualifies for the Pell Grant specifically. If you have Pell Grant eligibility, you are allowed to apply as a student work study and work right here on campus. So make sure that you've done that as well. If you want to have a part-time job while you're going to school, but you don't want to have to commute to that job, I can tell you with the work study jobs, we will monitor your schedule each semester, and then we will rearrange your work schedule so that you can still take the classes that you need in each term and be able to work part-time. So that's a really quick overview of financial aid, and my focus right now is on the ARP and the CARISA, because if you haven't done your FAFSA yet, there's still time to do the ARP and CARISA and have that in time for next week. We are processing those daily as they come in, and as soon as you see it in an estimated status, you know you've been awarded. And again, we'll start transmitting those funds after the last day to drop classes for the fall term. So that's a really quick overview of financial aid. If you have questions, I am going to put my email address in there. You are certainly welcome to contact me by email with any specific questions, especially if they pertain specifically to your account. Are there any questions out there for me that I need to focus on that Bruce and I haven't already done?
There was one that came through a way back earlier about reimbursement. The student was thinking the reimbursement only comes at the end of the semester. Is that correct?
No, it'll typically come within 30 days after the start of classes. So when you have financial aid that is due to a student, this confuses people a lot because some people read our award notice and we say we transmit funds 10 days prior to the start of classes. Where we transmit those funds, however, is not to the student. It goes to the student account within the business office. The business office then pays your tuition, allows you to charge books at the bookstore, and within about 30 days after the start of classes, you will receive your balances for those classes. Okay? One of the other confusing things I'd like to mention while we're on the topic of balances is if a student takes 12 credit hours in a semester and they take 6 hours in the first 8 weeks, and then they register for 6 more hours in the second 8 weeks, but they do it early, they do it all up front. The way your financial aid works is we only release funds 10 days prior to the start of classes. So in that event, we're only going to release half your Pell Grant to the business office. However, they will pay all 4 classes that you're registered for. Sometimes that leaves people short book money because they said, well, why did you pay for those? They don't start until October. It's the policy of the business office that all tuition is paid before bookstore charging is allowed. So oftentimes I will tell students who are needing to split their classes but rely on that Pell Grant and financial aid to pay for them, go ahead and register for your first 2 classes. Go get your books at the bookstore 10 days prior to the start of classes, and then go register for those other 2 classes so none of that aid will be used to pay for those until 10 days prior when I release more funding in October. Okay? Any other questions? If not, I'll turn it back over to Mariceli.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I have a question. Can everybody apply for the Carissa?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
And the ARP.
Okay, I did the ARP, but because I wasn't Pell, I wasn't sure that I could do the other one.
Yes, you can. They put Pell eligibility as a first priority early on, but we should be past that now to where you can also apply for the Carissa.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Pearl, will a non-Texas resident be able to apply for the ARP and the CRISA grants as well?
Yes, sir, because these are federal grants. They're not
Okay.
state awards.
Okay, there was a student who said she moved here with her husband and was non-Texas resident, didn't think she'd be eligible. So apply for that money. You are eligible.
Yes, it's federal.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, we have a lot of those questions coming through.
We had another question. It was, when can one expect to receive the remaining balance owed through direct deposit?
It would be within 30 days after the start of classes. So I say within because the business office does prioritize how funds are released back to the student. And typically, if you have loans, those might come a little sooner. If you paid, for instance, let's say you paid the tuition just because you didn't know any better and you went ahead and paid $500 for tuition, they will take $500 out of your Pell Grant and send you that right away because it's called a reimbursement of charges that you paid for. So within 30 days kind of covers all the different scenarios, but by the end of the 30 days from the start of the classes, you should have all the financial aid that you're eligible for deposited to your account.
And then our final question is, how long does your FAFSA money stay on file at the bookstore before they will send you your reimbursement?
It's normally just a few weeks, and that's why you have that 30-day window, because some students will typically go get those books early. I apologize. You want to only buy books, though, for the classes that are starting now, especially if you have 8 and 10-week classes, because we'll give you more money 10 days prior to the start of the second set of classes to use at the bookstore again at that time. However, if there's enough money out there and you want to buy all your books for all your classes, you're welcome to do that as well. But I would say 10 days prior to the classes starting, go to the bookstore.
Okay. And also Bruce has placed in the chat an info session on financial aid on September the 14th at 10 a.m.
Yes.
That is our CTC live session, and the financial aid personnel will be there. Unfortunately, Pearl will not be the one since she will be on vacation, but that we will have someone there to answer all of your questions if we did not answer them today.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Pearl.
All right.
I have a question. One
Yeah.
more question. I went to look at my my classes real quick, and one of them said this section is no longer available. What does that mean?
I can answer that question, Pearl.
Okay.
So does it say the class is full or is no longer available?
It just says this section is no longer available.
It may have been a canceled class.
Oh.
So if that was canceled, you'll get a notification from our records office giving you other options, or possibly from the academic department. I can't say for sure, but that's most likely what it is. Departments are currently looking at their class sections and making sure they have enough students enrolled in each one for them to make. So you may want to go see if there's a different class to sign up for.
Okay. Also, if all my classes are going to be online, even though I'm going to be full-time hours, do I still need to go to get my ID and everything and parking pass, even though I'm not going to be there physically?
Not necessarily. If you want an ID, you can come get one once you're paid and have your registration, but yeah, you don't have to.
You will need your student ID card if you want to use some of the student services, such as some of the library services. If you want to use the gym or things like that, you will need a student ID card for that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that leads us to our next presenter, Eva Hutchins, and she is the Associate Dean for Academic Advising. Eva?
Hi, good morning. First of all, let me just say welcome. I'm glad to see all of you guys here for this new student orientation. Y'all are getting a lot of great information today. So, you know, share this information with your friends if they didn't get to attend, and let them know all of this wonderful information you found out, especially about the free money Pearl has. So again, welcome. We are so excited that you're here at CTC, whether on campus or online or doing blended or synchronous. We're just very excited to have our students here this semester. So as Ms. Charlotte mentioned, I am from academic advising. And so I do want to go over just a couple of quick points with you guys about our services, where we are, what we offer, and just some common things that I usually see with new students as you're going through this process. So I'm going to share super quick, I promise it's not very long, PowerPoint. Hopefully y'all can see my screen now. And can y'all hear me okay? Awesome. Okay. So again, I'm with academic advising. There's lots of different places where you can get advising on campus. So I want to go over some of those options with you. So academic advising here on Central Campus in Building 209, our phone and email are listed here. You can make appointments with them, which I've got on a different slide here in a moment. You can call or email us, but we are by appointment only right now. So those are some of our contact information. Eagles on Call, those are academic advising is open traditional CTC hours, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5:30, and Friday, 7:30 to 11:30. But we also have Eagles on Call. Right now it is peak time, so if you went to go make an appointment, you might not be able to get through. So another advising option, if you couldn't make an appointment, would be to reach out to Eagles on Call and email or call them. They don't see students face to face, as they are a call center, but they are open for extended hours. They are open 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Friday. So if you're working a job and you get off late and you need to reach out to us, you know, there are advisors on campus available to help you through phone and email. And then our Kate Advising Center is down in the CTE building over on the west or east side of campus, 253 East. And they advise over the programs if you're doing anything in industrial technology, graphics and printing, office technology programs. And so they're available through phone, email, and you can also email them for an appointment as well. So as mentioned, I'm not sure what I just did. Now I'm in an annotation mode because somebody sent me a request to annotate. How do I undo that? Does anybody know? Sorry. There we go. Okay. So if you need help registering, you can call any of these offices or reach out to any of these offices. We can help you with that. We also have live chat, and here is the appointment link as well. Okay. And I can come back to that screen later as we go through this. If you are a new student and you filled out the application, and maybe you filled out that application a few months ago, or you filled it out in a rush, and you didn't quite get the right program listed and your plans have sort of changed, that's okay. So if you are thinking of a degree plan change as a new student, make sure you visit with us to discuss your options before you take too many classes. Ask yourself, is this going to affect my funding source? So Ms. Pearl just talked about financial aid. I believe she mentioned for financial aid to release, your classes have to fit into your degree program. Same if you're using any sort of VA funding source. So if you've already taken some classes or you're in the middle of taking classes and you change your program, you want to find out, is that going to draw back any of your funds if you were to change your program during the middle of the semester? And then ask yourself, what are your career goals? We have a great career center here if you're not sure about your career goals and you need to go and speak with them about those options. That may be a way to help direct what program you change to if you're not sure. And then another option to consider, another thing to consider on this checklist is, are you planning to transfer to a four-year college? And if that's the case, we can help make sure if you're transferring to a Texas State University that you can have that smooth transfer process and hopefully not take any courses that are not required in your degree path. So if you were to change your program, you can reach out to us. If we do, you can come do that in person with an appointment. You can email us. We do not change your program if you give us a phone call. We do need it in writing or in person. If you email us, please make sure you include your CTC ID and date or date of birth with your information request. We can't do anything without that information, and we get so many emails every semester, and it's from, you know, joe.smith1234@gmail.com, and they just say, hey, I need to change my program. Well, we can do that, but we do need to be able to look you up in our system. So make sure you include your information for any request that you send to CTC, financial aid, any office, your instructors. If we don't know who you are, it's very difficult to answer the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to this screen so that if y'all need to take a screenshot of that, you can. But otherwise, I can't see the chats right now when I'm presenting, but if there's anything that's come through as a question, I'd be happy to answer.
There's been a lot of questions with regards to TSI, things that have to do with if they can they take the TSI, you know, between now and the time the classes start. Can they take classes without the TSI?
Okay, sure. Let me address some
the
of
testing.
that from a general standpoint. So for TSI purposes, because we're because of the pandemic since last year, the state, because everything we do is governed by the coordinating board, our state governing entity over Texas colleges. And so the coordinating board has said we can do some, you know, non-traditional things. So in the past, we wouldn't have been able to do this, but with COVID and the pandemic, we are under these exceptional circumstances through next summer. And so we can allow you to start classes this semester, this fall, without the TSI on file. You can't take any class that requires a TSI prereq, like such as English 1301 or a math course, if you don't have the TSI on file, but we can let you take non-TSI required courses such as history, criminal justice, government, speech, humanities. Those types of courses don't have that prereq on them. So if you're not able to get into testing, and testing is by appointment only, that is strict and hard and fast. They have to keep social distancing parameters in place, so they have to have an appointment to give you the test. You can test in person or virtually, but I would be surprised if you could get in and test before Monday in person. You could test virtually prior to Monday, but it would be difficult to test in person by Monday. So if that's the case, that's okay. If you need that test and your advisors told you you can take it this semester, what it's going to do is allow you to start this first semester, and then next semester, before next semester, we'll have to have that test on file, but that will give you time to schedule it, get it taken, work with your advisor on the results, and then go forward from there next semester. So again, you can start the semester without it, and then next semester you'll be able to get that, or this semester you'll be able to get that taken care of, and then we can direct your classes from there. It's just going to direct which classes you can take, and some classes would be off the table because they have that TSI requirement, if that is your situation. So it's just something the state's allowing us to do. In previous years, if you've heard from friends or family who've gone through and they're like, I could not start without the TSI, I could not start. That was prior to COVID, and we do have some different things we can do based on the coordinating board guidance that we have. So that's the best way for you to get started if you're in that boat where you just now started this process and you weren't able to get into test prior to.
Okay, Eva, a question just came through. How do I know my TSI was actually sent? Because I sent it, but I don't think it shows or worked.
Where did, I don't know where it was taken. You know, depends on who you sent it to. So I would need the student to email us their question so we could look at their account. I wouldn't be able to answer that from that type of information, fortunately. We can research that for you. Send us an email and we'll get that taken care of. Make sure you include your CTC ID, name, and information. Anything else? Okay, so there was a question about your community college and sent your transcripts to CTC. Okay, you can work with the advising office to see what's going on with that. It could be a situation of how the classes were articulated. We do have to see if they're a direct match to our classes. So anytime you're transferring courses, we can go through that and explain and make sure there aren't any errors on that, and then let you know where that stands. So if you're here locally, reach out to us at advising. If you're not local, reach out to Eagles on Call and they'll look at that. All right. Well, that's all the information I had today. Again, welcome. Hope everybody has a great semester. We're here if you need us. A lot of times y'all will reach out if you're having, a question about something going on in your class, or a question about what classes you're taking, and for sure confirming if it's in your program. So anything like that, definitely reach out. It's never too late to get that information going, and we can get that answered for you. And if we can't solve it, if it's something to do with another department, we will always forward you and get you in contact with the correct department to resolve the issue.
Eva, real quick, because I think this is a question we had earlier. Is there a short assessment to get into college? No, it's a TSI basically, correct?
We have been doing, you can start the TSI practice if you want to do that. That's something you can send your advisor office an email letting them know you want to do that, and we can go through that. If you do that option, there's a caveat to that. So if you do that option, it depends on what classes you take. If I ever have to tell you, you have to take the actual TSI assessment. So that one gets a little bit complicated. So that's something you need to reach out to your advisor about, that option and the route you can go, because if you do that and without the right classes this semester and the correct grades, then next semester I may still be telling you you have to take the actual TSI assessment.
Awesome.
And one more question for you, Eva. I took dual credit classes during high school and I had them sent to CTC, the transcript, to see if my credits can be transferred, but I haven't heard back. Will they email me?
So that office processes in the order received, and it's usually about 6 to 8 weeks. That can be delayed during peak times. So it depends on when we receive that transcript. If it's been processed yet, they won't email you, but it will show up as transfer credit within your degree plan on WebAdvisor.
On WebAdvisor, okay. Because she said she checked Eagle Self Service and it was blank, so.
So yeah, so it depends on when that was received. If it's been more than 2 months, if you want to reach out to that office, you can. I'll throw the for transfer credits, I'll throw in the email account into the chat. But if it hasn't been if it's been less than 8 weeks, I would not reach out to them, because they receive thousands of those every month, and they have to deal with them in the order received. So there is a time lag on that one.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, if you guys want to continue to send your questions into the chat, we'll do our best to quickly answer those as they come through. But we're going to keep moving. Our next presenter is going to be from Campus Police. Chief Barragon, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Good morning,
Thank you.
everybody,
Good morning.
and welcome. Welcome to Central Texas College. I'm excited to have everybody coming back to campus and seeing faces, and I'm just want to do whatever I can on my part to work with you and to provide a safe learning environment for all of you. I will address some of the questions that have already came. As far as the permits, you can come to our office at Building 211 Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5:30 to get your permit. The permits are free. You will need your vehicle registration, your driver's license, and your CTC ID. We're also open Fridays from 7:30 to 11:30. So welcome, Eagles. And I think Ms. Vargas is going to share the screen because she has the PowerPoint. So I'm just basically going to cover some things that are important. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cover some rules and things that can get us in trouble, but I'll try to make it as painless as possible because I really want you all to enjoy being here on campus. So my presentation is going to be, of course, the guidelines to opening up campus, as you heard Dean Starkey talk about the COVID, the uptick in COVID cases. And I want to talk about who we are, the police services that we do provide. I also want to talk about the clearing, and then the rights and responsibility, and then the emergency alert system that we have, campus carry, and then of course, the safety when it comes to an active shooter that we are available to present to all the classes, the avoid, deny, defend. So as we go to the next slide, one of the things that the 6 phase procedure. We are now in the 6th phase. Starting Monday, or we actually started it with our open house on Saturday. We're open. Our campus is open. Dean Starkey said that if you want to wear your mask, you can wear your face mask. I'm also, if you haven't heard, um, the city of Killeen is offering free testing and also vaccinations the next few days. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 o'clock to 7 p.m., you can go to the Killeen Special Events Center to get tested for COVID and also to get your vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine. So it's available and it's free. And they'll also do it the following week on the 26th through the 28th at the convention center. I'm sorry, at the special event center from 9 to 7. Again, it's your choice, but again, whether you want to wear the mask, get vaccinated, it's up to you. But they are offering the Pfizer vaccination for free. Who we are, as we go on to the next slide, we're police officers, and when we're commissioned by the state, we have the same authority that a Killeen police officer, Coppers Cove police officer. So please, I ask that you respect my officers and that we're not, we do have safety officers, and you'll be able to see the distinction between our safety officers and our police officers. Usually the ones carrying the gun is the police officers. So. But again, we are commissioned through the state of Texas. We can give you citations, so things like that. So I would just respect my officers, and if they don't respect you or treat you differently, please come and talk to me about that, because I do want to make sure that our professionalism is professional and respectful, and that we're here to help you. Like I tell them, we are guardians, we protect. And one of the things I want to make sure is that as guardians, we are protecting our campus and we're here to keep you safe. The next slide is, we can skip that one because we have the police services that we provide. So anything that I would, if you don't have it, I would copy this phone number, because that's our main number. That number is available 24/7. You can call us 24/7, and it'll go to an officer. We can do escorts. We can do unlocking of jump start of vehicles. Of course, our parking permits, it calls for service, anything that lost and found. One of the things that happens a lot during is that you lose your books. If I were you, I'd initial one of the pages on the book with your initials or your ID number, and that way we know that it belongs to you, because sometimes we get 4 or 5 books of the same class, and we're going to ask you, how do we know it's yours? So if you initial it somewhere in page 12 or whatever page, so we can identify that it is your book. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Clery Act. So one of the things that we're responsible is keeping track of all the crime, and we're available. If you want to see what the type of crime, our report is available online. We also have it if you want to come here and talk about the types of crime that we have and talk about it. We can show you everything that we have. Again, the most important is that we want to make sure that you feel safe and that you are safe on our campus. And we're here to make sure that we do provide that environment that for you and for everyone that visits our campus. Your rights and responsibility as we go on to the next one is, this is where it's going to get a little knowing as far as our rules, as far as our procedures, as far as breaking the law, but you have to understand your rights and responsibilities. Know your student code of conduct. Our campus, we have zero tolerance when it comes to Title IX, which has to do with sexual assault, sexual harassment, dating violence, drug and alcohol abuse. We are a smoke-free campus. If you want to do a free speech, there is a procedure in place for you to do your expressive activities. So, and of course, the violations of the law. Of course, if there's no smoking, that means there's no smoking weed or any other kind of vaping. So again, those are the things that can and will get you in trouble here on campus. Now, we do have the discretion to handle it as a criminal offense or handle it administratively. Depending on the seriousness of the offense, I prefer to handle things administratively. But again, um, uh, I'm seeing that question that we do not have smoking areas. As a smoke-free campus, the only place you can smoke is inside your vehicle. That's the only place, or off campus. So that's the only place you can smoke. So the next thing is the emergency alert. Again, if you haven't signed up for the emergency alert system, it's important that you do. You get a text or an email or a call saying that our campus is experiencing an emergency, or even a campus closure. During the winter freeze, we actually sent out alerts that our campus for employees was not open and not to come because of the snow that we got and things like that. The next page actually gives you information on how to sign up. I know when you started your process, your application, you had the option of opt out. Well, if you want to, just take a picture of this and sign up, because it's important. Because let's say the winter is coming up and we cancel classes because there's no heating in one of the buildings, we'll send out an alert that classes are canceled. And if we tell you, and it never fails, students will show up. Well, I didn't know classes were canceled. Why? Because they're not registered for the emergency alert. So please, for all notifications, I would encourage you to sign up for the emergency alert system. The next topic is campus carry. So again, we have gun-free zones. If you're 21 and you have a license to carry permit, you are allowed to conceal carry on campus except on designated areas. Gun-free zones are going to be your early colleges, the child care facilities, the mental health location, any sporting events, the Morton Hall, which is our dorms. Again, you cannot carry, even though you have a license to carry permit. Um, in these areas, you could be in violation of the law. There is a new law that just came out, and people call it the constitutional carry. Again, the state of Texas said you do not need a permit anymore to carry. However, for Central Texas College, you are still required to have a permit, a license to carry. So if you meet all the other criteria, you need to have a permit. So make sure that you have a permit and it is concealed. Make sure you do that. The last slide that I want to go to is the civilian response to active shooter events. This is a presentation that we do for everyone if you want to. And basically what we use, we employ the strategy avoid, deny, defend to protect against active shooters. Uh, I come from El Paso and I retired from the El Paso Police Department. And one of the things that I do want to stress this craze training, because the strategy, the avoid, deny, defend, was used at the Walmart in El Paso, and it was able to save hundreds of lives. It's unfortunate that many died, but again, Walmart uses the same strategy. This is a science-based strategy that works, and this is available. You tell your professor, hey, I want to know something about what to do in case of an active shooter. Besides having stuff on our website, we will do the presentation, avoid, deny, defend for you. It's called the Civilian Response to Active Shooter Events. And that's all I have. And again, thank you. If you ever want to come to my office and chat with me, we can talk about policing. We can talk about what's going on in America as far as how people feel about police officers. I want to do everything to help us work through all these issues that are going on, and whatever I can do to keep you safe. Please come and talk to me, and once in a while, maybe we'll even go fishing here at the pond if you like. So God bless you all and be safe, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. As always, thank you for giving us this opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, our next presenter is Mariceli Vargas, and she's the Director of Student Life. So Mariceli is going to give you some very important information about student conduct. So Mariceli, take it away.
All right, good morning, Eagles. Are you falling asleep yet? Please don't. We still have a little bit more, just a little bit more. Hang in there with me. Again, my name is Mariceli Vargas. I am the Director of Student Life and Activities at Central Texas College. And I have a lot of fun things that I oversee, and I'm going to just share some of them. But ultimately, the part that most people get to know me for, unfortunately, is not even the fun stuff. I do oversee the club's organizations, activities, and even this event. And I'm currently looking for college ambassadors. Anybody interested, please look at our job postings because I need ambassadors. We have a lot of fun with students in the future, you know, just having activities and such. However, having said that, we still need to be able to talk a little bit about the other part of my job that is not as fun. It really is just not as fun. But it's just as important, if not more. So the part that's not as fun is actually I am the main conduct officer for the campus, which means that if anybody has a situation, any student has a situation, something happens that we need to address, then that means I have to have a conversation with you and make sure that we address it appropriately, figure out if there's going to be any consequences, etc. I work very closely with campus police and Chief Barragan and his staff to make sure that we have a positive, you know, interaction and make sure that we maintain this campus safe. So a lot of the things that he mentioned, I would pretty much everything that he mentioned to heart. We really want you to be successful, and part of what that means is making sure that you're following the rules. So I want to talk a little bit about perspective, just because this is something that I feel really needs to be addressed more than ever. We are actually blessed to be in a part of Texas and the United States that actually is very multicultural, which means that people have different ways of looking at things and different perspectives. So you could have in the same street, in the same area, basically grew up together, and you can have two families that have one situation and they're looking at it from different perspectives. And that's why I like to show these pictures here, because it just depends on how you look at a situation, whether the situation is true or not. Let's look at this. If you look at the first one, the guy's saying, yes, it's a 6, and then the other person saying, no, it's a 9. But are they really wrong? Is any of them really wrong? Just like in the other picture, it's showing you a square, and then somebody else is seeing a circle. They're not wrong in any way. It just means that they're looking at a situation from a specific area. And that's going to happen to you a lot in life. And if nothing else, we want to make sure that you learn how to look at things from different perspectives and actually ask questions. Because if the person that's looking at the 9 says, "Well, I see a 9. Why do you see a 6? Can you explain to me how it is that you see a 6?" And maybe if that person just steps out of their comfort zone and walks around and asks that question, they might actually notice that it could also be seen as a 6, and that could also be considered a correct answer. Same thing happens for, is it actually a square or a circle? Guess what? It's both and neither. It's actually a cylinder. We sometimes have only part of the information, and I'm going to encourage you to actually go out there, ask questions, try to understand why people have the answers that they have Try to see it from their point of view, and that's going to make you a much more, give you a better answer as to why things are the way they are, which is going to allow you to make better decisions. This is another perspective, and I really like this one. It says, I just watched a film where a man's wife is brutally murdered by a serial killer, and his son is left physically disabled. In a twisted turn of events, his son is kidnapped, and he has to chase the kidnapper thousands of miles with the help of a mentally disabled woman. Huh? What is that movie called? It's called Finding Nemo. We usually think of Nemo as the cute, oh, the little clownfish, he's so cute. And, you know, it's a cute Disney movie or Pixar movie. Oh my God, da da da. But if you think about it, this is actually the movie. This is actually what's happening. And if you have somebody that has this kind of mindset, they're going to think this actually can be kind of, you can look at it from a negative point of view and say, wow, this is like brutal movie. And it, you know, I don't know about you, but I do remember, well, most of you are probably too young, but I do remember when Lion King came out in the movie theaters, and my cousin was probably about 5 years old and bawled, just bawled when Mufasa was killed in the movie. Just totally had a meltdown in the movie theater because it was really tragic to her. Now we see Lion King and we say, oh, that's a sad part of it, and we just kind of mentally swipe it away. But for her, it was just tragic. And never mind, nobody in my family can really watch Dumbo. We just can't. It's just hard. And that's just a way of us seeing those movies. And even though they're Disney movies, they can be pretty tragic for us. And that's our point of view. That's our perspective. Does that mean it's wrong? No, it's just different. I say that because our institutional mission statement actually says that Central Texas College provides accessible and quality educational opportunities that meet the needs of a diverse student population and support student success, completion, and employability. So, employability is not only did you pass your classes. That's not all. It's also how do you get along with people? Can you be successful as an individual and as a whole person? Not necessarily just can you pass your classes. You can be the most brilliant student, have the best grades out there, and still not be employable, because you still have to be a good person that actually knows how to work as a team and be able to do things and deal with situations in a positive manner. And that's part of where I come in my area of student life and activities. And then I also fall under student success and persistence. We want to make sure that you complete your grades, your classes, your degree, but also that you are able to figure out how to use it in a positive manner out there in the workplace. What that to me means that you need to learn how to act and react to difficult situations. And you're going to be put in some difficult situations. And that's why we also have the code of conduct, where we include, and this is just a sample of it, it's way more. You can look at the whole student handbook and code of conduct, and it is online, and there's your link to it. But basically, these are some of the things that get people into trouble. And again, this is where Chief Barragan, his police officers and staff, and I worked closely together, because the ones that get most students in trouble on campus have to do with theft, burglary, or some sort of crime committed on campus. Let's see, engaging in an obscene, profane, reckless, irresponsible, destructive, or unlawful course of action, which means you really, don't curse out your faculty or don't curse out your students. Don't act in a way that's reckless on campus that's going to hurt you or somebody else, whether that be physically, mentally, or emotionally, or a combination of those. Those things are not okay. And we really want to make sure that you don't do that. My other thing to this is a lot of individuals have drama in their lives. And I'm pretty sure all of you at some point or another have had drama. Don't bring it to campus. Don't have it come in here. And don't be a part of it. Drama, what ends up doing is it makes you struggle into how to respond in a positive way. And I am going to if there is a situation you get in trouble, what I'm going to do is look at how you acted and reacted to circumstances. Did you make a choice that actually was for the good of all? Were you actually thinking about how to avoid a situation before you went full frontal and, went crazy at somebody? What happened there? You really need to think about how to act and react to these situations. And that's what I'm going to hold you to. Part of that, as Chief Barragan mentioned, has to do with sexual misconduct, sexual assault, Title IX, etc. And a lot of it is basically just don't do it. There's, it's really important that you think about people's rights and responsibilities individually and as a whole. And you really need to be respectful of people's space, boundaries, and what that means. Part of that includes giving consent to a sexual act. Now, here's a little caveat for those of you that are younger. The age of consent in Texas is 17 years old. So that means that if your friend is 16 years old and you're 17 and you decide that you want to engage in a sexual act, the 16-year-old legally is not able to give consent. So please make sure that that could actually get you into trouble if the minor's parents get involved and say, hey, I want to, make criminal charges against this 17-year-old because they had a sexual act with my 16-year-old. Keep that in mind. And I am going to show you a quick video on consent. It pretty much covers consent beautifully. I love the way that it's put together. But the one thing that it does not mention is age, and that's why I make a special mention to it. So let's watch this video, but let me make sure that I optimize. Yes, okay.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, hey, would you like a cup of tea? And they go, oh my God, I would love a cup of tea. Thank you. Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, hey, would you like a cup of tea? And they're like, I'm not really sure. Then you can make them a cup of tea or not, but be aware they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important part, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you are entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say no thank you, then don't make them tea at all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, yes, please. That's kind of you. And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time that it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind. And you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea. And they can't answer the question, do you want tea? Because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea. And they said yes. But in the time it took you to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down. Make sure the unconscious person is safe. And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they're safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it going, but you wanted tea last week. Or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat going, but you wanted tea last night. But if you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you're able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand it when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea.
All right, guys. I saw a lot of smiles and emojis. I love me an emoji, so thank you to all of you that shared that. The smile emojis. Yes, it is really funny. I really do enjoy this video a lot. Um, but I love it because it's funny and it's cute and all of that, but at the same time it's very true. So that's why I find it really fun to share with everybody. And if anybody has any questions with anything like this, please feel free to contact me. I'm going to ask Bruce if he could put my email up there in the chat because this is really, really important. And if you ever have any circumstances that you feel that like you need to contact me, please go ahead and do so. So now to a little bit more fun things. We do have, I want to talk a little bit about some of the resources that we have on campus for everybody. Those include the library. We talked a little bit about that before, where they can help you with your research, making sure your paper, correcting your papers for special reports, how to look for research for anything that, if you have like a research report per se, they can help you look for stuff. And actually go talk to them. They're pretty excited about talking to you. If you say, oh, I need help with this class, they're actually pretty eager to talk to anybody. So please take time and go talk to and see them. We also have what's called SEEPSARC, which is Student Employment Assistance Program. Thank you. Whew. And then SARC, I forgot it is, but it is
Student Assistant Resource Center, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So anyway, basically what that means is if you need to talk to a counselor just about life and the difficulties that you might be going through, you definitely want to go talk to them. Starting college can be difficult on a good day, and most of our students we have found are going to school, they're working, they have a family life, and you know that just comes with a lot of challenges. And sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. I want to make sure that you know that we have counselors available to talk to you for free. They have the same qualifications as if you were to go out in town and find a counselor to talk to, and they're free. So I would say please take advantage of that. They're here to assist you in your challenges that you may come up with your life, and we want to make sure that you're aware that that's an option for you. The academic studio, with which Professor Lyles talked a lot about, it does include tutoring, which is one of the bigger ones. And then we also have childcare assistance and book lending, depending on your degree plan. Morgan went ahead and put her information in the chat for those of you that are in WebEx. She oversees the childcare assistance and book lending, and she can also help you with tutoring if you need it. So please contact her if you have any of those questions. We also have a disability support services. If you actually have a disability that has that you have documentation for, you are welcome to contact Disability Support Services and send them the documentation, and they will help you identify what are reasonable accommodations. It is important that you're aware that accommodations at the college level will look differently than what you may have received in the high school or elementary or middle school. So it's really, please have a conversation with them if you're not sure. Documentation may also look a little bit differently, so contact them if you have any questions. They're definitely here to assist with all of that, and they can clarify any questions you or your family may have with regards to disability support centers. Career Services is another big program that we have. Career Services helps you identify like, oh, I don't know what I'd want to do when I grow up. I don't know what degree plan I should take. I'm confused as to what to do in my future. They can help you with that. They can also help you with resume writing. They have a lending closet together with the library where if you need to do an interview and you don't have clothes, they will lend you some clothes to help you, you know, make sure you're looking appropriate for your interview. They will do mock interviewing with you just to kind of help you get prepared. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. If you have any questions as to, if you're just thinking like, oh my God, I need a job and I have no idea where to start or what to do, they can get you started. And even if you know what to do and you just need somebody to check out, your resume, make sure it looks okay, that it makes sense. That's a really great opportunity that you may have. Somebody asked about meal cards. You can contact Great Western here in our central campus, and they will help you with meal cards. Financial aid does not cover that. You have to talk directly to our Great Western cafeteria individuals, and they'll help you with that. Last but not least, we have welcome weeks coming up. We have a lot of stuff that we are excited to share with you. It will be the first 2 weeks of classes that we're having here at Central Campus. All students are welcome. It doesn't matter if you're online or not. It doesn't matter where you're located. If you're able to participate in any of these things, please do so. It is not just only on campus, but we're also going to have some online events that you can participate no matter where you're located. Welcome Back Bash is one of those that is here on campus. It will be Thursday, August 26th between 9:30 and 1:30. You're welcome to come and just have some fun with us, get to meet a lot of the resources that we have available, like the ones I just mentioned a little bit, plus more. And you are welcome to just find out more about how to be successful on our campus and outside, and we're going to be here for you. And that's pretty much all I have. I just want you all to have a great semester, start out on the right path. You may not believe it, but actually, considering all those people that did not attend or have not been able to see this event, the orientation will be at a disadvantage. You guys right now, by going through this, will have a lot more information as to how to be successful if you've taken notes. And you're going to notice later on that it's going to help you, because you, at least, even if you don't remember anything else, you remember the people that have talked to you. You're welcome to come see me at the Student Lounge in Building 220, the Roy J. Smith building. Ask any questions of us here, and then hopefully all these different individuals that you have met today, if nothing else, you have their information and you can contact them. And I'm sorry that, the welcome week page was too pixelated. Okay, I know why, because I will do this. I got you. I know what's wrong. I can fix it. That's an easy fix. Because I just, see, that's why you guys tell me and I will help you. That is not a problem. Easy fix. Oh, I don't like that display setting. I don't know. Let's see. It's the very last one that I shared, so just give me a second. There we go. How's that? Is that a little better, maybe? For my friend Julia, is that better for you? I don't know if it is or not, but at least that's what we're trying to do here. Hopefully it is.
She says perfect.
Awesome. Okay, and then there's a little QR code, and then I'm gonna see if somebody can also add to the chat. Oh, somebody did. Morgan's got in the chat also the link to the page.
She's a little late. I beat her to it.
Yeah. See,
just kidding, Morgan. Good job. Just kidding.
Morgan's on it. You can get a little bit more information just by going in that link. And so if you haven't noticed, this is a team effort. And I just want to say thank you very much to everybody who has been part of this team that has helped today, even though I'm the one who normally oversees. Oh, no. What's going on here? Am I sharing? Okay, I don't think I am. No. Okay. No. Even though I'm the one who usually oversees the new student orientation, this is still a team effort, and I can't do it without my team. And special shout out to Charlotte, who this is her first time taking the lead, and she did great. So thank you. And we hope that all of you in the future, if you have questions, if you have concerns or anything else happening, you will let us know. The slides will not necessarily be available online, but you can definitely watch it all on YouTube. All of this is going to be on YouTube probably by tomorrow. That would probably be a best guess, at the latest Monday, but probably by tomorrow. So you're welcome to go to the CTC YouTube page, and you can follow CTC in YouTube. For those of you that don't know, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Snapchat, we have Discord and Twitch. I think those are for the most part the main ones. You're welcome to come and join us at all or any of those. And we're going to try to always maintain as much information out there for you guys. Bruce did just include the YouTube link so that you can follow CTC for me, is the page for Central Texas College. Any last words, anybody? Charlotte?
Yes, I wanted to add to the students, definitely ask your questions. There are no dumb questions. There is someone to help you with anything that you need. The academic studio, I really can't stress that enough. We do have tutoring available, but also I'm available to do drop-in advising, and just come and chat with me. If you're lost in your classes or just lost with the classes that you need to register for your next semester, you can definitely come and see me. Again, we are here for you, and we're rooting for you to have a very, very successful semester.
All right. Well, if nothing else, I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Yes, thank you, everybody. You guys have been awesome. See, this is fun. This is my fun part. We need to do more of these activities. More activities like this are more fun, and we really want to encourage you to participate in all of our activities that we come up. We put a lot of effort so that you guys can actually see and participate with us. So please come and see you all. We'll see you around campus soon, and we hope you have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.